Vice.
You know what's sad? The fact that I don't play enough shooting gallery games. I've played Wild Guns for the Super Nintendo, but that's about it. I guess you could say light gun shooters are in the same genre, although I consider them to be a genre of their own. Well, I recently played through Bot Vice, a gallery shooter made by indie developer DYA Games and released on Steam in July 2016. Bot Vice is an intense shooter that will kick your ass until you get better. There's no difficulty curve or hand-holding. The opening tutorial shows you everything you need to know, and it's up to you to master the controls to be successful. Complete with a story mode, extra missions, and full controller support, Bot Vice is an action-packed gallery shooter where you shoot all kinds of robotic enemies in an effort to bring down a madman. The story doesn't really take itself seriously, but luckily the gameplay is addicting as fuck. Let's take a look.
My name is Erin Saver. I used to be a police officer, but at 28 years old, fate had other plans.
The story takes place in Bot City and you play as Erin Saver, a former cop turned vigilante. 6 months before the events of the game, Erin was pursuing a criminal gang known as the Wildbots, led by 4 mercenary cyborgs. She lost her partner, her right arm, and has since left the force. Now 6 months later, the Wildbots have been hired by a madman simply known as Lunatic, who has taken control of the Tominaka Plaza building and threatens to destroy it unless he receives 100 billion bot coins. Now equipped with a bionic arm, Erin takes the law into her own hands and sets out to stop the Lunatic and the Wildbots. The voice acting is pretty bad, but I think it's supposed to be, and the characters just sound over the top. It's obvious that the story wasn't really the focal point, but it's there for those that want it. I think some of the cutscenes go on for a bit too long for this style of game. I mean, some of the cutscenes are longer than the time it will take you to complete the stages.
What's the matter? Don't you remember me, Porky?
You have a set amount of time to complete all 25 stages, or I guess the building is destroyed and you fail. Luckily, I was able to beat all 25 before time ran out. Time is subtracted based on how long it takes you to complete each stage, so you'll want to beat them as quick as possible. You can replay any stages already completed, and they can each be beaten in under 2 minutes. Each stage has an end boss, and every 5 stages you'll have to fight one of the Wildbot cyborgs. After beating the campaign, you will unlock an extra 25 missions, so there's plenty of stages to play through. Even though the stages are short, some of them can be extremely difficult, and you'll need to use everything in your arsenal to survive. There's 3 difficulty modes: easy, normal, and hard. I primarily played on normal, and even on normal the game can be punishing at times. I can't imagine how challenging this is on hard. This is a gallery shooter, so Erin can only move left and right. She can shoot straight ahead or lock onto enemies and roll to dodge attacks. You're invincible while rolling, and you should be rolling often. If playing with an Xbox One controller, you press up on the left joystick to enter cover, but I often found myself entering or leaving cover when I didn't intend to. It kind of sucks that there's no toggle cover option. You cannot shoot while in cover, so you'll need to expose yourself to attack. Each stage has a line of objects in front of you that make up cover, and cover can be destroyed, so staying in one spot is ill-advised. Not only that, but enemies will throw bombs that can harm you even if you're in cover, so knowing when to roll, enter cover, and attack is crucial for success. Erin can only get hit 4 times before dying, and if you die you need to restart the stage. Erin is equipped with a powerful saber that can be used to destroy enemies that get too close, and even destroy incoming projectiles. Little yellow robots will fly around the environments, and shooting them causes them to drop health and weapon pickups. Erin is always equipped with a handgun with infinite ammo, but the weapon pickups are much deadlier and have limited ammo. The machine gun fires rapidly, and the spread gun is great for destroying multiple enemies at once. The flame gun is like a flamethrower, great for short range, and the rocket launcher and grenades are the deadliest weapons in the game, great for dispatching some of the tougher enemies quickly. There's no difficulty curve, no leveling up, no power-ups, and nothing to really aid you. You either get good or you die. The game becomes more difficult as you progress, and the extra missions will really challenge you. Enemies can fly around, teleport, some have shields, and some of the more annoying enemies like these stupid frog robots will jump on you. The bosses include things like tanks, aircraft, different types of vehicles, tougher robotic enemies, and things along those lines. After beating a stage, you're given a letter ranking, which I believe is based on time and how much health you have left. The replay value comes in the form of trying to complete each stage as fast as possible and achieve the highest rankings. Needless to say, I suck at this game, so it was very rare that I achieved high rankings. It's all about practice and memorization. Enemies usually come in waves. For example, after killing a specific number or all of the enemies currently on the screen, another wave of enemies will come flooding in. Lasers, electrical attacks, rockets, bombs, bubbles, and those stupid fucking frogs will be coming at you left and right. Bot Vice is a very fast-paced game, and even though I would spend 20 minutes trying to beat certain stages, I never felt the desire to quit the game. It's an extremely fun and addicting experience. You can unlock challenges that can be viewed in the challenges screen in the main menu, which I believe are equivalent to achievements. Unlocking challenges usually requires you to do something specific in certain stages, like using a specific weapon, avoiding certain attacks, or destroying specific objects in the environments. Some stages contain environmental hazards like toxic gas and moving trains that can kill you instantly. I don't have many complaints when it comes to the gameplay in Bot Vice. As I said earlier, I found the cover mechanic to be a bit too loose, and accidentally leaving cover when you don't want to can result in taking damage or even death. Considering you're always focused on the combat and because everything is so fast-paced, moving the joystick slightly the wrong way can put you in or take you out of cover and ruin your momentum. I also kind of wish you could aim with the right stick, like a dual-stick shooter, mainly because the lock-on mechanic didn't always work the way I wanted it to. It locks on to the closest enemy, so if you want to aim at another enemy, you'll need to let go of the lock-on button and move closer to the enemy you want to attack. The problem is that if you're not aiming, you can only shoot straight ahead, which really sucks sometimes. You may want to prioritize certain enemies over others just to dispatch them quickly, but having to move to a spot that's under heavy fire just to lock on can be a bitch. One minor issue I have is that during some of the later stages, especially some of the later extra missions, things can become so hectic that you may take damage or even die and have no idea where the attacks came from.
Time to fly!
Bot Vice is quite a good looking game. It's full of colorful and well detailed pixel art that's pleasing on the eyes. The explosions look, sound, and feel great, and it makes killing enemies that much more satisfying and addicting. Bot Vice performs pretty flawlessly too, from a technical standpoint. I never encountered any frame rate drops, bugs, or crashes. The sound effects are decent, some of the enemies will say things in stereotypical robotic voices, and the weapons all sound appropriate, but it's the music that's really the best part of the presentation. The game's website indicates it's full of 90s synth rock, although I got more of an 80s vibe from it. Either way, it's amazing and every song is catchy and memorable, and you should seriously buy the soundtrack.
No, it's just... your eyes are super gross. They're like bulging and oozing this liquid while changing color.
Bot Vice is actually one of the best indie games I've played in a long while. My favorite indie game has always been and still is Spelunky, but this is definitely in the top 5. It's an intense and fast-paced game that will keep you engaged from beginning to end. It's extremely challenging, and thanks to the ranking system and difficulty modes, there's a good amount of replay value here. It does have a few minor problems, but the gameplay is so addicting that they are easily overlooked. You get to play as a chick with a bionic arm and blow up robots with a satisfying arsenal, need I say more. And for $10 on Steam, I would definitely recommend Bot Vice to anyone.
This new level of technology, a machine that is indistinguishable from human form, has some seriously messed up implications. Oh, it also had a radioactive bomb contained inside of it, ready to be activated at dawn. Naturally, I didn't let that happen. Scientists later determined that the bomb would have detonated if at the scheduled hour it had retained a glimmer of energy.